Okay, first up is Vincent for character design. Um, yeah, I like that it has good, clear shapes. Um, Pretty big feet. I like these kind of more um, stage poses for as kind of a study. Um, you might want to spend a little more time on the head. Maybe do like a three-quarter view because this design for the head is fairly two-dimensional, and it's a little hard to know how this is going to translate into three dimensions. So maybe doing like a three-quarter view just to help visualize that would be a good idea. But basically, this is pretty good. It's clear, it's simple. I might have the hands extend a little further out, maybe get a little wrist in there, or at least the end of the hand beyond the cuff. Um, but yeah, besides that, this should work. Next up is Alberto, and his first version he had was a non-humanoid character, but we really needed humanoid for this class. So let's see what he came up with next. Okay, it's humanoid with kind of an interesting face. There's kind of good basic shapes here. I would go maybe spend a little more time on the hands. I mean, I can see you're wanting to do this mittens kind of thing, but maybe kind of get a little more length on those fingers, a little more shape to the thumb. I think that the face is too simple. I think you can get something with a little more character and style in it, and maybe move it. It's okay to do something stylized, but maybe kind of move it in the direction of the features of a regular face, and see where you end up. Because right now it's a little blocky, but for the most part, this design should work for this class. Next up is Sung Jong, and both of these characters are really good. Um, you can clearly see you spend time making sure they match in the front and side. They've got good basic shapes. They're humanoid, so that makes them easy to rig. And yeah, got a lot of character and style to them, and good clear shapes. I think you could do either. If you do model these legs, you'll want them facing forward like this. This kind of leg is a little tricky to rig, but we should be able to handle it. Um, so either of these would work for this class. I like the character kind of emotional sketches you have here. Those are great. Looks really good. So yeah, very nice work there. And I think just pick your favorite. I think I'm partial to the bunny because it just seems like the shapes are a little more fleshed out, but the turtle would be fine too. Next up is Tommy, and oops. Yeah, this one looks really good. Um, let's get rid of this tools thing. Here's the full screen. Normally, we model with the palms facing down rather than facing forward. I think that you'll find these extremely short legs can be challenging to animate with, so you might want to consider giving them some more length in the legs, like at least doubling it. I think you can still maintain sort of the look of the character. Maybe getting a little more shape to the arms, giving a sense of where um, the wrist is and where the elbow is. Some kind of indication of that in the shape would help. Um, yeah, overall, it's a good-looking character, and kind of make sure these are lined up just right. Looks like they're pretty good. So I think there's some improvement you could do. The shapes definitely make the legs longer. And the face looks good. Next up is Damien, and yeah, I think there's a lot of thought to the kind of sort of story to this character. It looks like there's some something going on with the face here. This interesting thing, and that arm sort of claw thing. I think the first thing I'm noticing to fix though is that you want to draw these vertical lines and make sure the heads line up. The top of the head, the chin, the shoulder, the breast, the waistline. Like make sure all these things line up in the front and side so they're the same. And right now, sort of some of them do, some of them don't. So the other thing is to just really use some photo reference to get the anatomy and proportions correct for this. And then maybe give the pants a little bit more shape, like give an indication of a knee in the back of the knee, and so forth. So um, yeah, I think this could use a little bit more work. But I think fundamentally you could definitely use a character like this for this class. But I just think it needs some improvement of the anatomy and then make sure it's the same in front and side. Next up is Cindy. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very cute kind of character. I think it's going to be a challenging one to do very much complex animation with just the flippers and those sort of very tiny feet and a very limited beak for mouth. So you could do this for this class, but I would say, consider doing something that's a little more humanoid than the penguin. Even though the design is nice and simple and clear, I think you'll be fairly limited on what you can do with it, or at least it'll be challenging. Certainly, it's possible to do a really good penguin animation with a character like this. Um, so yeah, I mean you can use it. I guess my inclination is to get to something that's more humanoid than this penguin. Next up is Brittany. Um, yeah, this looks pretty professional. Really good work. You've got the arms up and down to the sides, front and side. Yeah, this is sort of what I've been talking about, like a clear indication of the knee and just a little shape for the anatomy. You've got like a narrow waist and broader shoulders. Um, yeah, I mean, this is great. Um, I think that I might consider making the ice skates optional. So just build them separate from the shoes. So you can have them on or off. And yeah, maybe do if you did like a three-quarter study of the face so that you can see it from a slightly different angle and get a sense because this is very these simple little lines are very two-dimensional. It doesn't really inform you that much about what the 3D shape is going to be. So an additional drawing of the head might help flesh that out. But yeah, this is excellent work.